Hi YouTube, how you going? Welcome to another video on how to become a vegan. We've kind of covered the three main meals. The purpose of those videos wasn't really to give you recipes and that kind of thing. It was just to show how easy it is to become a vegan, how many options are out there and are available to you. But I think the next video, and perhaps I should have even done this first, the biggest thing is how to overcome resistance to you becoming a vegan. It's a big issue. I know it's a big issue because I faced it. I know it's a big issue because I did it to my brother. If you've watched our introduction videos, you'll know my brother turned vegan first. And I was one of those people who was saying, where do you get your protein? Where do you get your iron? Aren't you going to die? Why would you want to be vegan? You're just going to become weak. All that stuff. So I was the person who was bashing. And obviously I've since apologized and since become vegan myself. So I guess the moral of that story is you can change. People change. People learn to understand. I agree, it can be very hard if you live in a family where there aren't vegans or vegetarians and you come out and say, hey, I want to go vegan. That's what my brother did, and obviously, although my parents have always let us do whatever the hell we wanted to do, there was resistance there naturally, and it's because people aren't educated about it. Being vegan, especially in our part of the world, isn't mainstream. There's not many vegan products in supermarkets. I don't know any other vegan, or I didn't know any other vegans until I became a vegan, or my brother did. And since then I've only met one or two here or there. So it's not like a mainstream thing. And because of that, they're not saying it because they don't love you or don't like you. They're saying it because they're probably literally concerned. They're like, oh my God, he's going vegan, or, what's going to happen? And then myself, when I made the decision to turn vegan, again, my family and the people that I'm close to were concerned as well. Lots of different reasons, whether it's just fitting in like the social circle and, if they come up for dinner or go there for dinner, what are they going to eat and all that kind of stuff. So, first things first, to overcome resistance or rejection to the idea of you being vegan, I think, first of all, you need to be firm in your belief that you want to become a vegan. If it's something you kind of want to do or are thinking of doing, don't bring it up. You have to be 100% committed to doing it, and you'll know when that is. There'll be a point where you'll start researching, start understanding, and then all of a sudden you'll learn something, you'll read something, you'll see something, and you'll go, there is no way that I can eat meat again, or there's no way I can eat animal products again. I need to be vegan, 100%. Once you're at that stage, you've then made the commitment yourself to become a vegan, and it's just about implementing that. And as part of that process, obviously now you're going to be faced with some resistance. Next step is to really educate yourself, which has hopefully happened in stage 1 as well, but continue to educate yourself to allay those fears, so that when you raise the fact with your family that you don't want to eat animals anymore and that you're going vegan, and they say, well, hey, what about your protein? The thing that I've found, you got to choose your path. If you've got a family who's really analytical and likes to detail, rattle off the statistics, show them the articles, and go onto nutritionfacts.org, show them the forks over knives, and the books by guys like Neil Bernard, Cadwell Esselstyn, all those kind of things that show the science, the China study, the science behind being vegan. If you've got a family who aren't really into the detail and you say, oh, I want to go vegan, they're like, oh, what about your protein? What about your calcium? What about this? Go the other way and say, well, look, there's all these athletes. There's guys like Michael Arnstein, Rich Roll, heaps and heaps of people who are athletes who are vegan. So if being vegan didn't work and you die of a protein deficiency, how are there these top level athletes? So you kind of got to pick and choose your path with that. And by having the education, you can hopefully allay some fears with that. And then the third stage is, I guess, kind of about showing how easy it is. I know rattling these off, it's probably coming across as like, oh, it's all well and good to say that, but I really do understand, and it's not a short process. It's not like you go, hey mum, hey dad, I want to be vegan, and then they're like, no, you're not doing that. What about your protein? And you go, oh, well, read this book or watch this doco, and then they go, oh, that's all right, son. You can be vegan. It's no problem. It's going to be a long process. It might take you weeks. It might take you months, but eventually people do come around. So the third step, as I said, is about showing people how easy it is. Point out the products that are already vegan in your pantry. Go through it and say, look, mum, all the veggies, all the fruit, the rice, there's heaps of pastas in here. Just everything. Go through them. The taco shells, the bread, the burritos, whatever it is. Check the ingredients, obviously. Make sure it's vegan. Say, look, mum, I can have this. It's vegan. The beans. And then show them the alternatives. So instead of having mincemeat in your burritos, have beans in your burritos. Show them that it's not all about just having tofu and lettuce. That's a very big misconception, I believe. And the other thing with that is it helps if you can cook. Because then that way, if you're home for lunch or, you're going to do dinner or something, you can cook something that's vegan. And then even if you're not serving it for the other people, they're going to be like, oh, what are you eating there? And you can show them, they might taste it, they might like it. And then they'll understand that you're not just living in this little box where you just eat lettuce and salads. So that's really the next point. Just showing people that it is easy. And then it's about slowly overcoming their comments, their questions, and finding what works for you. As I said, some people might be concerned about your kind of health, like your protein and all that kind of stuff, but show them the information that this isn't a concern. Show them the athletes who are excelling on a vegan diet. They might be concerned about social settings. Well, what about when we have you over for dinner? Or what about when we go out? It's about finding ways around that. So I go to restaurants. It doesn't restrict my social life at all. The thing that you just have to do is you just phone ahead, or you ask them. You go, look, I see that you've got this on your menu. Is it possible that you can tell me what's in there? Does it have any animal products? Can it be made without animal products? And 9 times out of 10, the restaurant will help you. They'll say, oh, look, I've been to a few restaurants where they've made special dishes up. Like, did a couscous dish with some veggies in it once. Another time, there was a pasta dish that didn't have any animal products. So it's just about asking the questions. And if you can show that to your friends and family, they'll know that you're not really restricting your social life and going to have to just take them to vegan restaurants all the time. The other thing as well, if you're invited to someone's house, say to them, look, I know I'm vegan, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, even if you're joking around about it, I can bring my own food if you like, or I can just, have extras of the sides. They might have salads and stuff that they intend as a side for them. You just have it as a main portion, and before you go eat a little bit, at your house so you're not starving hungry, just having a salad or something like that. Just trying to think really of what else to do and say. I think in summary that pretty much covers it, but the only other thing I'd add would be don't kind of push it, just give it time. People will come around. At the end of the day, you've got to remember that your family and friends do love you, and if you have friends who, family should always be there 100% and they'll come around, but if you have friends who ridicule you or whatever, just tell them to fuck off, because they're not worth having. People should support your decision, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to them. Think about it. You have a friend who says, oh, you're vegan, and where do you get protein, blah, blah, blah. Say to them, well, what does it matter to you? I know in my mind, and I've explained to you, so many times that I'm fine, but you still have this issue. What does it matter to you if I'm vegan? And they'll say, oh, well, I'm just concerned about your health. And you say, okay, well, I don't want you to be because I know that I'm fine. Or they might say, well, they might come up with some lame excuse, but it doesn't have any bearing on their life whatsoever. So what you put in your mouth is what you put in your mouth, and what they put in their mouth is what they put in their mouth. As long as you're not having a go at them, then they've got no reason to have a go at you. And just say, look, I want to be your friend, but if you're going to be a dickhead about it and keep going on and on and on, just get rid of them. They're not worth the effort if they're like that. I'm not saying straight away, like off the bat, if you tell them the first day, hey, I'm vegan, and they're like, oh, why are you doing that? I'm saying, like, if you've been transitioning to a vegan lifestyle or made the change and they're still doing this like a year or 2 years later, still giving you a hard time, then they can't really be a friend if they're doing that. I would expect resistance from your family and everything like that. You just have to expect it, but they will come around. And I'm not saying to get rid of your family at all. I'm just saying that with like friends who maybe aren't, with family, they'll love you no matter what. Well, they should do, and they're probably more just concerned about you, and they do come around. They will come around. Friends, on the other hand, if they're not as close and they don't have that, conditional love, I guess, and they just want to be a jerk about it, then they're people you can move on if they're still giving you a hard time a year later. You don't have to worry about them. So that's my tips, guys, how to become a vegan, how to overcome some of that resistance. I hope it helps. I know it's very hard to put in practice. I faced it myself, but just educate yourself, be committed to what you want to do in your life. It is your life, it is your body, and you have to be happy with the way that you're living your life. So if you want to be vegan, be vegan. Thanks for watching. Comments, questions, put them down below, and stay tuned for more videos.